Hey guys, good morning. Daryl here. Happy Wednesday. It is 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I want to talk about Trump supporters and their personality, their character traits. This has baffled me for a long time. Why I am so on why I absolutely positively I would cut off my arm before I would vote for Donald Trump. Seriously. I've pondered this almost on a daily basis. How so much of my family, girls I've dated, have been strict Trump supporters. There seems like it's either or. There's no gray area. And I've talked to you guys before about the character traits that I seem to see in Trump supporters. I always seem to see an underlying anger. I always seem to see an underlying feeling that Trump supporters are constantly looking at other people and judging themselves, judging the other people, where they rank. And I've talked about this in other videos. And I came across some articles, and there's going to be links down below. I picked two of them in particular, done by, I think it's Psychology Today, and a couple other Psychological Institute studies. There's two links down below. And it does confirm a lot of what I observed. It talked about Trump's narcissism and how people are attracted to that. The people that are attracted to his, what I would view as narcissism, as a me first attitude. You know, how he talks about, to me, I see somebody that's just full of crap, that says America first, but obviously is more concerned about himself. This narcissistic attitude. But apparently that narcissistic attitude, the way he is what appears to be confidence to some people, to me, it's arrogance and ego. But to other people, it appears as confidence. And that's what attracts some people to Donald Trump. They see it as a confidence and a hardline and authoritarian attitude. And it's those people that are attracted to Trump. It's kind of scary once you start reading about this. The word authoritarian comes up a lot when they're talking about the people that are attracted to Donald Trump. They're very obedient. They're very into obedience, respect, a hierarchy, strict law and order. There's no black or white. I mean, it's purely black or white. There's no gray area. There should be what's right for one person. It should be, should be right for everybody. There should be no factors figured in. The people like me that despise Donald Trump, to put it any other way, tend to be creative, tend to be curious, very independent. If there's one word for my entire life that I would use to describe myself, it's always been the word independent. I have always despised obedience. I remember this one time when I was being babysat. I was 5 years old, and my babysitter said to me, "You will obey me." I still remember this clearly. I remember where I was living when I was 5 years old, and I remember her saying this to me. And I remember saying, thinking in my 5-year-old brain, hell no, and I still remember it to this day. Obedience does not go over well for me. I was supposed to join the army right out of high school with one of my friends. And he joined, he went to Germany, and he did well and everything. This was in 1985. And I didn't join because I have a problem with obedience. I question authority. And it all made sense. With my artistic personality, I'm creative. I question things. I like to push boundaries, and it all makes sense if you look into these two articles. Some of it's alarming, where it talks about Trump supporters and the authoritarianism that they support. That kind of scares me. One of the articles goes on to say that they're not trying to compare Donald Trump to, say, the leader of Germany in 1940, but there's a lot of similar traits between him and that leader in 1940 and the supporters of that leader in Germany and Trump supporters. There's a lot of common traits. This just confirms, like I said, this just confirms a lot of the things I've talked to you guys about this in other videos. And look, you know what? I'm not trying to judge. I'm really not trying to judge anybody else. But the thing I like about this, at least it explains this to me. It accounts for why there just seems to be such a division between, with me, like I said, ever since I saw Donald Trump mocking that reporter, the handicapped reporter, there was no way I would ever in my life, like I said, I would sooner cut my arm off than vote for Donald Trump. Seriously. And like I said, I've noticed this with the girls I've dated especially, and some people in my family that support Donald Trump, that they're very concerned about what other people are getting or not getting, and they compare it to themselves. Some people I know are very upset about the stimulus and the unemployment benefits, and it's always about being treated unfairly. They're always judging themselves against other people, even going to the immigrants. I was watching a Trump supporter talk yesterday, and he was talking about the families being separated on the southern border and the kids being held in detention, or kids in cages, as the rest of us normal people like to call it. And this Trump supporter was saying, well, they broke the law. There's got to be, if you break the law, you pay the price. And it goes along with these articles talking about how Trump supporters are very black and white. I mean, they don't take into account that you are breaking up a family. You are tearing apart a family. You're causing psychological. These kids have been in a lockup for 3 or 4 years. They are psychologically ruined. And Trump supporters are like, well, they should have come in legally. They broke the law. And you look at the damage. To me, I look at the damage that's inflicted on these families, on these kids, for all these people wanted was for a better life for their family. But Trump supporters just see somebody who broke the law and they have to pay for it, even if they're a 4-year-old child. A 4-year-old child who had no choice in the matter. But to Trump supporters, too bad. They got to pay the price. And these articles make total sense of that. Kind of an uncaring. It's so ironic too that Trump supporters and Republicans call themselves a family, the party of family values. I guess you have to be a white American if that's who they're talking about. Because if you're a Spanish or a Mexican, they couldn't really give a rat's behind about your family or your any values there apparently. And again, a lot of Trump supporters around me were judged themselves. And here's the thing. This is something I've learned in the last 13 years of sobriety. For me, it's a personal daily challenge to be better than I was yesterday, to improve myself. That's to constantly make improvements. I never judge. To judge yourself against other people, to constantly look at the grass is always greener, that kind of saying, and to constantly judge yourself, it's a surefire way to lead an unhappy life. I am sure, this is something that I've learned over the last 13 years, and I'm absolutely positive of it. The more that you compare yourself against other people, what they have, what you don't have, the more unhappy you're going to be. And like I said, it fits in, like I said, in these rallies, I've always seen this underlying anger. And there always seems to be this envy and jealousy with Trump supporters. And it makes perfect sense when you read these 2 articles. And there's plenty more articles, but I picked these 2 in particular. It explains a lot. About why Trump supporters are who they are. So check them out. The links are down below. You guys have a good Wednesday.